yesterday.
Let me ask you a question, Keith. So last night, I'm sitting there watching the game. The Packers are down 17-3. They're pretty much on the goal line. And Aaron Rodgers, like very uncharacteristically, like takes a shot deep downfield into double coverage. It was a horrible throw, by the way. And just watching him go off to the sideline, there was nothing about Aaron Rodgers that I saw last year that looked like Aaron Rodgers right now. It just looked like he was a completely different dude. And just imagine this. If we were to talk about this during the summer, that we would watch Jordan Love in the game and Aaron Rodgers sitting on the bench with them getting blown out 38-3 by Jameis Winston. Like, what would we have said considering everything he just went through this summer? It seemed like it had to take somewhat of a toll. I'm not saying he can't bounce back because he can. But
yeah,
wow,
he will. When they backed up like that, though, and you throwing a ball, it's basically a punt right at the end. You're heaving it, you're getting rid of it. It's doesn't really matter at that point. And then when you say body language and things of that nature, it's one of those deals where Aaron Rodgers he's seeing something as a quarterback and he wants something dialed up. He's looking at certain coverages and it's not happening for him because the game plan probably isn't working the way that they thought the game plan was working. So when they went into it, they probably went into it with a bad game plan to start. They just probably went into the game with a bad game plan. That's what happens when you get nothing going on offense, is because not that the coach gets out-coached, it's just that you didn't game plan.
Want to hear from Aaron Rodgers?
Absolutely.
Let's hear from Aaron Rodgers.
Passive-aggressive Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, when a team's going to play that much two-shell, you got to be able to run the ball. And, we didn't run it that effectively. I think we came in thinking they're going to pressure us a bunch like they did last time. But last time, we had Allen, MVS, and Swerve. And this time, we had some different skill guys, obviously Devontae being back. So they really didn't pressure us a whole lot. It was a lot of two-shell. And they kind of held up with their front four, front six.
Can I go for one quick second, real quick, because I know Key's going to
translate
that into everyday people terminology.
Yeah.
That's the kind of stuff that kind of really gets me pissed off about Aaron Rodgers, right? Like, I get it, bad game, probably the scheme wasn't right, like Key alluded to in the first segment. But, like, why do you keep throwing everybody else under the bus? You know what I mean, Max? Like, why? Be a grown-ass man.
Listen, I'm not a lot of people feel that way.
Go ahead, Key.
A lot of people feel that way.
Max,
so what's the translation, what you just heard, what Aaron Rodgers said?
That the game plan wasn't the way that they wanted it to. They play a lot of two-shell. We weren't prepared. When you got all that two-shell like that, that means that the two safeties are high, the middle of the field is wide open. We should be running the ball. We didn't run the ball. We didn't adjust. We didn't get it done, and part of we means that the coaches didn't make the necessary adjustments.
So do you see what Jay is saying about, so that rubs you the wrong way because you're like, hold on, take some accountability, don't pass the buck. Is he passing the buck there?
He's passing the buck publicly, but he's not passing the buck internally. You understand what I'm saying? Like, he's telling everybody what the problem is.
Because it was the problem, right?
It really was the problem.
Mm.
They didn't make the adjustments. Typically at halftime, you go in, no matter what the score is, you get your little group together, you get on the board, they tell you, hey, they're playing X amount of coverage percentage this much, they're doing this on third down, they're doing that. We need to attack them this way. Clearly, they didn't have what they needed to when they went to the game from a play calling standpoint in their call sheet. But in their playbook, they certainly got some stuff that they could go to that would attack cover two if that was the biggest problem. Because two beaters are easy. If you're running the ball and you can't get running the ball, the middle of the field is wide open. Okay? You put people in the middle of the field on deep crossers, deep in cuts. If they playing cover two, you got comebacks that convert to high corner routes. I mean, it's all sorts of different stuff.
But instead their game plan played into the teeth of the defense, and they didn't adjust it.
You didn't adjust it.
I don't know why, just for some reason, I go back to the NFC Championship game where him and Matt LaFleur had a hard time communicating, right? So, like, my mind goes to, as a point guard in the game of basketball, if stuff isn't working, when am I going to the head coach and be like, yo, this scheme is no longer working. Time to implement a scheme that works. Like, where does that direct?
Well, we don't know because we wasn't in the sideline or the locker room, but if I'm thinking correctly, they probably had that conversation and said, hey, they're running cover two. Let's get to our two beaters. And the coach goes, yeah. And they never get to it because the situation doesn't allow them to get to it. And that happens a lot where you tell a coach, we need to be doing this. And then they think about when Brad Johnson was on with us and we talked about the Detroit game where they were running cover 2 man and we kept running digs, and I couldn't get open. And I was like, they're not listening to us. And I went back to the corner, touchdown, saved the game, and we all, won the game and the whole deal because we just made the adjustments on our own. Coaches sometimes, they become stubborn and just don't want to listen.
All right, look, there's so much to talk about with the Packers alone. We didn't even get to Jameis Winston and the Saints, which we're going to do in a little bit because Jameis, You want some good news for the Packers? The last team to lose 38-3 to the Saints was the Bucs last year, Week 9. And, of course, they won the Super Bowl. So I guess that means the Packers are going to win the Super Bowl. Key will tell you why he continues to be so wrong about one NFL quarterback, and someone else is here to rub it in. That's next. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, ESPN Radio, ESPN2 on TV.
Hi,
Chandler Jones has been a problem for a lot of years.
Yeah, he was unblockable.
It's great to have see Chan do what he did. Like, I can't, it's a beautiful thing to see. He goes out there and does what he does, man.